start in jail and have to work his way out.
Absolutely.
I think
love that idea.
Because it's like you need to earn your place out here.
You do.
In my opinion.
You do. And it should be treated as if they're on probation.
We have our first bad experience with men. Creepy family member that won't leave us alone and wants us to sit on his lap. By age 6, we're told that when a boy hurts you, it's because he likes you.
From now, there is going to be a quiet crisis, loneliness in women especially. Not because women failed, not because they weren't capable or intelligent, but
I'm instantly already pissed because you're a man, okay? And then you're gonna actually do something to piss me off.
There's a version of feminism today that nobody's allowed to question. And I'm not talking about women having rights. I'm not talking about women being safe. I'm not talking about women leaving abusive relationships. Any man who has a problem with that is weak. I'm talking about this modern version of feminism, the version that tells everyone you don't need a man. Marriage is slavery. Motherhood is a burden. Femininity is weakness. Masculinity is toxic. And then somehow expect society to survive after men and women have been trained to hate each other. Because I've seen videos online that are genuinely insane. Women saying men are replaceable. Women saying cooking and cleaning is harder than a man destroying his body in a blue-collar job. Women saying men should start their lives in jail and earn their freedom. And the craziest part? If a man said the same thing about a woman, he would be finished, cancelled, called dangerous, called a misogynist, used as proof that men are the problem. But when the hatred is aimed at men, suddenly it becomes empowerment. Suddenly it's trauma. Suddenly it's satire. Suddenly it's speaking your truth. No, that is not truth. That is ideology. And today we're going to talk about what this mindset has done to women, to men, to dating, to marriage, to birth rates, and to society. Because this was never just about freedom. It was about convincing men and women to stop building together. And once that happens, the system wins. Welcome back to another episode of The Thomas Cut. But let's be fair from the start, because I already know how people play this game. They'll clip 10 seconds and say he hates women. No, that's lazy. Women are not the enemy. Women wanting respect is not wrong. Women wanting opportunity is not wrong. Women wanting safety is not wrong. Women wanting to leave a dangerous relationship is not wrong. That is basic common sense. The problem is, it's not women. The problem is the ideology. Modern feminism took real issues, real pain, real abuse, real unfairness, and redirected that pain into resentment. That's the part people miss. It started with women deserve dignity. Fair. Then it became women don't need men. It started with women should not be abused. Of course. Then it became male leadership is oppression. It started with women deserve opportunity. Fine. Then it became motherhood is wasted potential. It started with women should have a voice. Good. Then it became men should shut up. That shift matters because once an ideology teaches women to resent men and teaches men that masculinity is toxic, what do people think happens next? Happy marriages? Stronger families? Better dating? More trust? No. You get exactly what we have now. Men and women suspicious of each other, women anxious, men withdrawn, dating apps full of bitterness, marriage is treated like a trap, motherhood treated like a burden, and everyone's pretending this is progress. You cannot poison the relationship between men and women and then act shocked when nobody trusts each other anymore. And the numbers are not exactly screaming victory either. In Australia, young women's mental health began falling sharply after 2012. Around the same era, Instagram and Snapchat became deeply embedded into everybody's life. The researchers are careful not to say social media is the only cause, but the timing is hard to ignore. The George Institute also reported that in 2025, 1 in 2 Australian women continue to experience mental health issues with almost 1 in 4 struggling with a severe issue. So my question is simple. If the modern script made women free, why are so many exhausted? If it made women powerful, why are so many anxious? If it made relationships better, why does dating feel like a war? Maybe telling women to live like men was not liberation. Maybe it was pressure. Pressure to work like men, compete like men, delay family like men, suppress softness like men, and then still somehow be feminine, beautiful, successful, desirable, peaceful, nurturing, independent, and happy. That is not empowerment. That's insanity with a hashtag. So let's look at what this ideology actually produces. We're going to go through 3 clips, and I'm just going to show you how crazy some things are at the moment. This world is it's in a cooked place. It's in a cooked place. But I'm going to show you these 3 clips, and then we're going to analyze them and go through them.
Which already upsets me. That already, I'm instantly already pissed because you're a man, okay? And then
Because we're a man,
you're gonna actually do something to piss me off. Bye. That's not gonna work for me. Get out of my face. You're replaceable. You're all replaceable.
Just pause it right there. Just pause it. Listen to the mindset. Not this man hurt me. Not I had a bad experience. Not I met the wrong guy. No. Just you're a man, so I'm angry. You're a man, so I don't owe you respect. You're a man, so you are replaceable. Now flip it. Just flip it. Imagine a man looked into the camera and said, I'm pissed off because you're a woman. I'm not going to be nice to you. Women are replaceable. What would happen? He would be destroyed. And maybe he should be, because that would be disgusting. But why is it only disgusting in one direction? And that is the question. This is what modern feminism has normalized. Not equality, not healing, not accountability, a social acceptable disrespect towards men, and then society acts confused when men stop approaching, stop committing, stop trusting, stop caring. You cannot spend years telling men they are replaceable, then complain when men replace the entire game with silence. Men hear the message, you are toxic, you are dangerous, you are unnecessary, you are replaceable. And eventually, good men stop arguing. They just leave. And when good men leave, society does not become stronger. It becomes colder. Now, this next clip is where entitlement starts pretending to be oppression. And let me say this properly before someone gets emotional. Running a home takes work. Cooking takes effort. Cleaning takes effort. Raising kids, serious effort. Any man who thinks a house magically runs itself is an idiot. But listen to how she talks about male sacrifice.
Don't cook and you don't clean.
No, because when the default goes for women to cook and clean in a relationship, then I think that's also why so many people are struggling in relationships, because that's labor. So compared to women's labor, compared to men's labor, if he takes care of all the bills, it's still 5 jobs.
See, this is where it becomes ridiculous. Nobody is saying housework is nothing. Nobody is saying cooking is nothing. Nobody is saying cleaning is nothing. But to act like cooking and cleaning automatically outweighs a man working a brutal blue-collar job? Come on, go work 12 hours in the sun. Go pour concrete. Go drive trucks. Go climb roofs. Go work on the roads. Go come home with your back cooked, your hands wrecked, your body sore, and your energy gone. Then tell me it does not compare. This is the problem. Modern feminism wants every female burden to be sacred, while male sacrifice becomes invisible. A woman cleaning the house is labor, fair, but a man breaking his body to provide is labor too. A woman cooking dinner is effort, fair, but a man waking up every morning to pay the mortgage is effort too. A woman being emotionally tired matters, fair, but a man silently carrying financial pressure matters too. This is where relationships die, when everything becomes a scoreboard. Who does more? Who suffers more? Who's more oppressed? Who deserves more praise? That is not love. That is a courtroom. And too many relationships now feel like legal cases before they even become partnerships. Real love is not, I do more than you. Real love is, I see what you carry and you see what I carry. That is balance. That is respect. That is how a home works. But modern feminism turned cooperation into competition. And once men and women start competing inside the home stops feeling like peace. It starts feeling like war. Now, this next one is different. This is not just someone being dramatic online. This is the kind of statement that shows how sick the ideology can become when nobody challenges it.
Should start in jail and have to work his way out.
Absolutely.
What is that?
I think
love that
that's
idea.
because it's like you need to earn
Who
your
says
place out
that?
here.
You do.
In my opinion.
We should be in
You do,
jail.
and it should be treated as if they're on probation for
How
a while.
cool.
Like one strike, you're
Yeah,
back.
even when they're out. Yeah, you're.
Yeah.
Girls fried. This is not funny. That is not edgy. That is not empowerment. That is sick. Saying men should start life in jail because they are men is not feminism. That is hatred. Again, flip it. Flip it. Imagine a man said all women should start life in prison and earn their freedom. He would be finished, and rightly so, because it would be disgusting. So why is it different when it's said about men? This is the hypocrisy. Modern culture says it wants equality, but it often excuses hatred when the target is a male. And that should disturb everybody, because once you teach a society that one group is guilty by birth, you're not talking about equality anymore. You're talking about a collective punishment. Men are not born guilty. Women are not born victims. People are individuals. There are good men, there are bad men. There are good women, there are bad women. But any ideology that tells you to hate half the population is not trying to heal society. It is trying to divide it. Every extreme idea starts as a joke, then it becomes a slogan, then it becomes a mindset, then it becomes a culture. That is why these clips matter. Not because every woman thinks like this, most women do not, but because the loudest, most bitter voices are being placed in front of millions of people and slowly becoming normal. And this is the part that people are not thinking about. These videos are not random anymore. They are rewarded. The algorithm rewards the most extreme voices in the room. The woman who says, I love men, I want marriage, I want peace, I want a strong family, she usually does not go viral. But the women who say men are trash, men are replaceable, men should start in jail, that gets pushed, that gets clipped, that gets shared, that gets turned into culture. Young women see it over and over again and start thinking bitterness is confidence. They start thinking disrespect is strength. They start thinking hating men is self-respect. And young men see it too. They hear the message. You are toxic. You are dangerous. You are guilty. You are only valuable if you earn enough. And then society wonders why men stop approaching, why men stop committing, why men stop trusting, why men check out. This is not happening by accident. Outrage is profitable. Division is profitable. Lonely people are profitable. Angry women are profitable. Withdrawn men are profitable. Dating apps profit. Therapy apps profit. OnlyFans profit. Influencers profit. Corporations profit. Their algorithm profits. But men and women lose. Modern feminism is not just an ideology anymore. It is content. It is a business model. It takes pain, turns it into rage, turns rage into views, turns views into money, and then calls it empowerment. That is how culture changes. Not overnight, not with one law, one clip at a time, one slogan at a time, one viral video at a time, until suddenly men and women look at each other like enemies and nobody remembers who taught them to do it.
What is the minimum yearly income to be your future husband?
I'd say 100K. 500K.
500K.
Not saying that I won't get married, but if I do get married, it's going to be what I want and not what the man wants.
This dude, how much money would you like him to make a year?
Over 60 million.
Wait, you say 60 million?
Yeah.
Ask me out and you're a millionaire, I'll say yes.
Oh, if you're a millionaire. If they're not a millionaire?
Then we can be friends.
What would you want his income to be? I feel like this is going to sound bad. I feel like 300,000.
I would have to say 127. Probably 150 to $250,000 a year.
$500,000.
Is that bad?
150, maybe to 250,000 a year would be comfortable for sure.
I was just having this conversation with my friend, and she was like, you have to manifest a husband, girl. Ideally, my husband needs to be making like 650,000.
So you said you want 500K, but what do you think the median income is for a 30-year-old?
60K? 70K?
It is $45,000.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
I think it's 250,000.
It's 52,000.
What? No, it's not.
Now let's talk about dating, because this is where modern feminism, social media, and delusion all meet in one ugly room. Social media has taken normal people and given them billionaire expectations. A woman scrolls through Instagram, influencers in Dubai, OnlyFans girls buying Lamborghinis, celebrity dating athletes, podcasts talking about high value men, designer bags, private jets, soft life, rich husband, 6 figures, 7 figures, and then she looks at a normal, hardworking man and thinks he's beneath her. That is not standards. That is algorithmic delusion. The average man is not a millionaire. The average man is not flying private. The average man is not buying Chanel handbags. The average man is not living like a rapper, athlete, a crypto scammer, a social media celebrity. The average man is working, building, paying bills, trying to become something. But online, normal men have been made invisible. And this is where the hypocrisy gets ridiculous. A woman says, I'm independent, I don't need a man. Then asks, what does he earn? What car does he drive? Does he own a house? Can he take me traveling? Can he fund my lifestyle? Is he high value? So which is it? Do you not need a man? Or do you need a man earning fantasy level money? Because those are not the same thing. Granton's 2024 income sheet showed that 90% of full-time adult workers earned less than about $169,000, and 99% of taxpayers made less than $343,000 in total income. So when people online talk like a man earning hundreds of thousands of dollars is bare minimum, they are not talking about normal life. They are talking about a fantasy economy built by social media. $1 million a year is not a standard. It's statistical unicorn. But the algorithm makes rare things look common. It makes luxury look average. It makes normal life look like failure. It makes hardworking men look boring. Maybe good men did not disappear. Maybe social media made good men look ordinary, and ordinary became an insult. The algorithm made average women believe average men are beneath them. That is why so many men are checking out, because they do not feel loved. They feel measured against fake lifestyles, measured against fake filters, measured against influencers, measured against millionaires who do not exist in the real world. And when men feel like wallets with a pulse, they stop playing, they stop approaching, they stop committing, they stop trusting. You cannot turn love into a transaction, then complain that nobody feels romantic anymore.
Telling women that the greatest thing they'll ever do in life is get married. You know what's harder to accomplish than getting married? Literally anything else. Getting a degree in biochemistry, flying a plane, folding a fitted sheet. Have you ever tried to do that? It's impossible. When you tell young girls that getting married will be their greatest achievement, you send them a message that they can't do other amazing things. And if that were true, we wouldn't have Oprah.
The older I get, the more I realize that these long marriages only last because women really will put up with bullshit.
In marriages in the 21st century.
For myself, I don't feel it's necessary to follow the career path or the life path of getting married. I don't think it's something that's relevant. It's very indoctrinated with religion and the patriarchy, and it also was based in like business and partnership transactions. It wasn't even based on love. So I believe in it as a construct, but it's not one I sign up for.
And this connects straight into marriage, because modern culture has made marriage look embarrassing. A woman says she wants to cook for her husband. and people act like she joined a cult. What? He can't cook himself? Are you his mother? Couldn't it be me? Girl, stand up. But that same woman can wake up at 5 a.m., sit in traffic, answer emails at night, destroy her nervous system for a company that would replace her tomorrow. And society says, queen, boss babe, independent. Do you see the programming? Serving love is oppression. Serving profit is empowerment. Serving a husband is humiliation. Serving a boss is ambition. That is not logic. That is brainwashing. And let me be very, very clear. Bad marriages are cages. Abusive marriages are cages. Loveless marriages are cages. But a good marriage, a loyal marriage, a marriage where a man protects, provides, leads, sacrifices, and a woman that supports, respects, nurtures, and builds peace, that's not a prison. That is a team. But modern culture hates teams. It wants individuals, separate, suspicious, selfish, easy to sell to, because marriage kills infinite options. Marriage forces accountability. Marriage forces sacrifice. Marriage forces men to grow up, and it forces women to stop worshipping endless choice. That is why the algorithm hates marriage, because marriage says choose one, and the algorithm says keep scrolling.
And when you see like how far the tentacles actually go, and then you see it like in feminism, you go, well, wait, what was she was what?
Yeah.
So explain
So
her.
Gloria Steinem was recruited out of Smith College in the 50s as an all-women's college. She already had some pretty like left progressive kind of feminist leanings. And this is generally how this works. If you want to know how the left has taken over academia, I have a whole paper about this on my Substack, how NGOs and universities have just swung completely left and they have just captured the university systems. They do it this way. So they recruit her out of Smith College. You know, she's writing papers about women's rights and feminism and stuff like that. And they go, she's pretty good at this. So they approach her and they say, we're willing to offer you something called the Chester Bowles Fellowship.
Gloria Steinem is considered to be a feminist icon, right? Because she led these protests. She also had a bunch of music festivals. She got students involved. It is just a fact that Gloria Steinem was funded by the CIA, okay? The CIA, being the male-dominated CIA of the 50s and the 60s, funded those movements. So what do you think was the explicit aim? Do you think it was because the government really wanted you to be more free, that they wanted to encourage women to enter
Well,
the
I have to be honest with
workforce?
you, I couldn't speak on behalf of the government.
Now, this is where people will say, Thomas, you're going too far. This sounds like a conspiracy. But ask a simple question. Who benefited? Who benefited when women were convinced the home was a prison? Who benefited when men and women stopped trusting each other? Who benefited when marriage became weaker? Who benefited when one income became impossible and two incomes became normal? The family did not benefit. Relationships did not benefit. Relationships did not become stronger. Men and women did not become more united, but the system benefited. More workers, more taxpayers, more consumers, more debt, more daycare, more dependence. And this is not some wild idea that institutions use culture. That is documented history. The New Yorker reported that the CIA created the Independent Research Service during the Cold War, and that Gloria Steinem was the person in charge. The same report says she knew where the funding came from. Now listen carefully. I am not saying every feminist was secretly working for the CIA. That would be stupid. Most women were sold a dream. Many had real pain. Many wanted dignity, safety, and opportunity. That part is real. But powerful institutions understand something ordinary people forget. Culture is a battlefield. They know movements can be useful. They know slogans can be useful. They know rebellion can be redirected. The matrix does not always create the anger. Sometimes it finds real pain, puts a slogan on it, markets it, and points it at the family. That is how the system works. It does not always crush you. Sometimes it recruits you. It tells women, you are free now, but free to do what? Work more, pay more tax, consume more, delay family, distrust men, depend on a boss, depend on the bank, depend on the state, depend on the algorithm. That is not freedom. That is transfer of dependence from family to institutions. And if you cannot question that you are not free, you are programmed. And this is why I say this is bigger than dating. This is bigger than podcasts. This is civilization. Because when marriage is delayed, when children are delayed, when birth rates fall, when men fear commitment, when women distrust men, when family becomes optional, society does not become stronger. It becomes fragile. Australia's total fertility rate in 2024 was 1,481 births per woman, and the median age of mothers was 32 years. The ABS also says fertility has been below replacement since 1976. The median age for marriage in 2024 was 31 for women and 32 for men. Those are not just numbers, they are warning lights. And no, feminism is not the only reason. Cost of living matters, housing matters, social media matters, weak men matter, but culture matters too. If you spend decades telling women motherhood is a burden, do not act shocked when fewer women want children. If you spend decades telling women marriage is oppression, do not act shocked when marriage loses respect. If you spend decades telling men leadership is toxic, do not act shocked when men stop leading. And if you tell both sides personal freedom is the highest goal, do not act shocked when sacrifice disappears. Because family requires sacrifice, marriage requires sacrifice, love requires sacrifice, and modern society hates sacrifice. It worships the self, my truth, my freedom, my standards, my healing, my lifestyle, my peace, everything is my. But marriage is us. Family is us. Civilization is us. And a society built only on me eventually destroys us. That is the warning. So look at the result. That's all I'm asking. Do not listen to the slogans. Look at the result. Women were told they would be more happier without men. But so many are anxious, exhausted, and alone. They were told marriage was a trap. Now love feels like a contract. They were told motherhood was a burden. Now birth rates are falling and society pretends it does not matter. They were told serving a husband was oppression, but serving a boss, a bank, a landlord, and a lifestyle they can barely afford somehow becomes empowerment. They were told to raise their standards, but social media turns standards into fantasy. Now normal men are invisible, good men are ignored, hardworking men are treated like they are not enough because they are not millionaires on Instagram. And then society wonders why men are walking away. Women are not the enemy. Men are not the enemy. The enemy is the lie. The lie that men and women do not need each other. The lie that independence means isolation. The lie that femininity is weakness. The lie that masculinity is toxic. The lie that marriage is slavery. The lie that a career automatically gives life meaning. The lie that a woman is only powerful when she lives like a man. Wake up, because this is not freedom. This is a generation of women under pressure, a generation of men checking out, a dating market full of suspicion, a marriage culture full of fear, a society selling loneliness and calling it choice. That is not progress. That is a collapse with good branding. Maybe the old values were not perfect, but maybe they were not the prison either. Maybe marriage was not designed to trap people. Maybe it was designed to protect love from selfishness. Maybe men and women were never supposed to compete. Maybe they were supposed to build, because a civilization does not collapse when men and women are different. It collapses when men and women are taught to resent the difference, and that's exactly what is happening. So stop clapping for slogans, Stop worshipping the algorithm. Stop letting broken people define love. Stop letting the system turn men and women against each other, because the Matrix does not fear lonely people arguing online. It fears men and women who stop fighting and start building again. That is the rebellion now. A man and a woman choosing each other in a world that profits from keeping them apart. That is what they try to destroy, and that is exactly what needs to be rebuilt. If you are tired of the lie, hit subscribe. This is the Thomas Cut. I'll see you on the next one.